Hey there interwebs, it's Big Fat Video Game Nerd coming at you today with a video review for Theatrythm Final Fantasy. Theatrythm was released about 2 weeks ago, July 3rd. It's developed by a little company called Indie Zero, and it was published by Square Enix. First off, let me just say that I'm not a fan of spin-off games. Second off, it really upsets me that we're seeing more and more spin-off games these days. I am, however, a huge Final Fantasy fanboy, and spin-off games seem to be cropping up more and more in my beloved franchise. When I first heard of this game, I was incredibly skeptical. In fact, the only reason why Square Enix was even able to suck $40 out of me for this game is because I have this review show now. So I have absolutely no faith in Square Enix right now, but honestly, I love the tunes of Final Fantasy series. So here we are, 2 weeks later, and I've beaten the game to a level I feel comfortable with reviewing it at. The game sets out to pay homage, sell out, cash in on the 25th anniversary of the Final Fantasy series, and it tries to focus on the unforgettable music scores of the main series entries run through 13. Unfortunately, a quick glance at the game, it's just not going to do Theatrythm justice. The game itself opens with a short introduction to its unimportant story before throwing players into a longer tutorial mode that they try to pass off as a series mode. Here, each numbered Final Fantasy has been condensed into a set of 5 songs, 3 of which are required to be completed in order to go on before songs can be played individually on varying difficulty levels in a challenge mode. The other 2 songs include the preludes or the ending themes, which serve no other purpose than, basically milking that nostalgia feeling that your fans are going to get. You collect points for collectibles, and it stretches out the playtime. Multiple passes will find yourself skipping all of these, preludes and endings together. Songs are separated into 3 categories: field, battle, and event stages. Though each play differently, they all follow the traditional rhythm game formula that should be familiar to anyone that's played anything from Guitar Hero or Rock Band. All beats are shown on the top screen of the DS, allowing players to tap the music anywhere they like on the touchpad below. Field stages see a single character traveling from point A to point B, while battle stages feature a 4-character party facing off against a whole slew of familiar Final Fantasy villains and bosses. Finally, event stages shake things up a little bit by getting rid of your party completely and overlaying beats on top of cinematics from the actual games. These stages may feature some memorable tracks, but they feel out of place, and it's nearly impossible to focus on the background images and videos while actually trying to get a good score on the stage. The game has an awkward start, not unlike a lot of Japanese role-playing games, but it definitely feels like the game is a quick cash-in or in fan service that's going to pull on all the heartstrings of anyone that's ever shed a tear at the Ares death scene or still finds themselves, humming along with the victory fanfare. But honestly, I can't blame or judge them. Well, okay, I can, but I won't. Okay, maybe I will just a little bit, but I'm still glad they did it. Once players have crawled or sprinted their way through a full game in series mode, those songs then become playable in the challenge mode, which allows single songs to be played on 3 separate difficulty levels, and they're not messing around. They are hard as cement blocks. All of this isn't enough. They do go the extra mile by adding traditional RPG elements into the mix. Characters from each Final Fantasy can be selected to form a unique party of 4, so there's a little something there for everyone. Each having their own unique strengths and weaknesses, and every song played nets a certain amount of experience points, causing characters to level up and learn familiar spells such as Fire, Cure, and even other character-specific abilities like Lionheart. Character stats and abilities come in handy in field and battle stages. Faster characters net more items in field stages, while a stronger party will beat down more enemies in battle stages. While character levels and equipped abilities don't matter all that much in series or even challenge mode, every bit helps in the game's most most difficult, or the thing that you're probably going to spend the most time in, called Dark Notes. Each of these Dark Note stages do feature 2 songs, a battle stage and a field stage. What's unique about these stages is players won't know what song they'll be playing or what difficulty level the game has automatically adjusted it on before you're going into it. And there are 3 bosses in each note that await discovery by the strongest of people. Here, abilities and stats mean almost as much as rhythmic prowess. And as players who don't go in well equipped won't be able to travel enough ground to encounter the mysterious bosses. Defeating these bosses will reward players the rarest items in the game, including colored shards that will unlock even more playable characters. This is where you'll probably be spending the majority of your time. It's worth noting as well that not everyone's favorite song could possibly make it into the game that covers 13 titles and 70 songs. Some of the song choices feel like they had to include them just because they're popular, rather than creating songs that actually fitted well into the game. And that's terrible in my opinion, because some of the remixes that people have come up with and the developers have created are actually catchier than the songs used in the game. So Square Enix, if you're listening, I want my remixes. Playing through Theatrythms, kind of a lot like grinding through in a traditional Japanese role-playing game. I found myself playing many of the same songs over and over again, not because I needed to get higher than an A or an S, but because there were items or bosses and other things that I just really wanted to get to. Final Fantasy fans, the repetition's probably going to not matter, but there's definitely a level of disconnect. Rhythm game fanatics will be able to find plenty of enjoyment out of playing series and challenge modes without ever looking at the equipment screen or worrying about what items they picked up. But RPG enthusiasts will want to spend their time grinding for all the rare items and collectible cards. I personally didn't find very much of a reason to do anything with my party outside of wanting to be able to take on some of the harder difficulty levels in the Chaos Shrine, but even then the rewards didn't really feel like they were actually worth the time or the effort. This game is something that you want to be playing because you're a fan of the songs and you love just tapping along with them. Not because, you really need to beat every single little piece and part and collect every little freaking item. Theatrythm Final Fantasy is definitely a very strong nostalgic trip down memory lane for anyone who has grown up with Final Fantasy series. And it's all packaged pretty decently, and I think that they included a lot of really good stuff with it. Other than that, the only thing that I really feel is worth mentioning before I give you my final score of the game, and that really pisses me off, is that there's paid-for DLC from day one. It's absolutely infuriating, very, very frustrating. I hate it when game companies do this, and that's all I really have to say about that. So, all in all, I'm going to give this game a 6.5. Now, it's a pretty harsh review, but again, I don't really feel like it's an average game, and I don't really feel like it fails either. So, do I think this game is worth the $40 on the Nintendo 3DS? No, definitely not. If I was picking this game up for $5 or $10, would I feel like probably pretty happy with the investment? Yeah, absolutely. So what I would do is wait a little while till the price of the game drops, and then pick it up if you're really into rhythm games and things like that, and you just want to add it to your collection, or you're a really big Final Fantasy fan. So that's all I have to say about that. If this is your first time checking out one of my reviews, subscribe above. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think, if you like this kind of stuff. Do you agree, disagree? Did you absolutely love this game? Hopefully people won't troll me because I'm a big fat video game nerd that loves Final Fantasy and purchased this game because I really didn't like it that much. So again, 6.5, not a failure, not as good as some other games. Off the top of my head, there's some really other good ones like Elite Beat Agents. I mean, that was a really fun rhythm game. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a great day.